So, what were you saying about? Yeah, I was saying. So, I think people like me and Mamola, like if we're not lifting, we don't know what to do. Um, I don't know. How was it for you?
Well, it's just training to train kind of sucks a little bit. I love the beginning and the mid, the end, having something to push for. That's what I like anyway. Well, it's something to drive you because just training is just monotonous.
Yeah, I like that monotony. It makes the voices go quiet. how
uh,
how long had you been lifting for before you first comp though? Like,
before
did
my
you do?
first,
Yeah,
well, you said before my first worlds.
no, before you first comp, just
Uh,
any
it
any meet.
it wasn't very long. I started in January of 91. I'd been 14 years old. I turned 14. My parents wouldn't lift till then, or let me lift. Started and went and did a competition in that April. So January to
Hmm.
April. 3 months into it, did my first bench meet, which happens to be like 4 blocks where the infamous Midland University's at. So it's a YMCA right down the road is where I got my bench press start.
Are we allowed to talk about Midland University? Do we get
I don't
banned for
know.
mentioning them?
Do I don't know the rules anymore.
Oh
It
wait,
kind of
someone's
stinks.
knocking at the door.
But
No, no.
yeah, I kind of started right away. I took a little break during college football just to be a college athlete, and
Hmm.
it was soon after that I got pretty bored. I think 2 years post college, that's when I started adult powerlifting. So,
So I'm assuming that through college you still lifted, like you were training for
oh,
football.
yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah,
numbers were actually really. I look back and going, man, I should have hit a couple meets back then, like
yeah,
during
right.
football. But,
So
oh well.
how light did you get down to when you're playing football?
How light?
Yeah.
Uh, I played football about 230, 235.
Okay.
So what's that?
What's the lightest? Is that like 100 and something, 100 and a bit?
Yeah. What's 105? 105 is what? 231, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds right.
So I was like 107.
Oh wow. So you would have been skinny.
Yeah, I was a skinny guy. Uh fairly. In high school I bulked up to a massive 230. And then I got myself down to 207 through a lot of running for
Hmm.
football. And then I came in as the strongest kid in the whole school my freshman year. And they're immediately going, we could use you on D line. So within 4 months, I was back up to 235, 240.
Yeah, right.
And craziest thing happened. Then I got one of these right here. So, yeah.
Hmm.
Magically, the weight just started going on after football. Boom.
Yeah, dude, I blame jewelry for most things. Um, that's why your bank balance is much smaller as well. Is you got
So,
one piece of jewelry that means you have to buy jewelry every year of your life until you die. That's what it
mhm.
means. Oh
So yeah,
wow! And
I was pretty light.
so what position did you play?
I went through high school as a linebacker,
Hmm.
uh, basically all state linebacker. Then I rolled into college and apparently doing 315 pounds for 11 times on bench press at 207 pounds. They enjoyed that.
So what's that? 140 by 11.
Yeah, that was my freshman year at 207. And they're like, "Hey, we're pretty skinny on D line, no pun
Hmm.
intended, but we don't have many guys, so we can get you on the field." So I got a little bit of playing time as a freshman, and we had just
Yep.
were really deep on linebackers at that point. So I did it for the team, moved up to nose guard, and there I was.
Which do you
So
prefer? Which was more fun?
Uh I really I enjoyed high school linebacker because I was the middle guy and it was see the ball and go. Like it was just read and go. And then I converted a little bit during spring ball my sophomore year and this whole like assignments and reads and responsibilities, I didn't like it. I was like, put my hand back in the dirt. Let's just go.
Hmm.
And so I probably like the high school linebacker thing the most because running at people at high rates of speed was a good time. Uh,
Oh yeah, yeah. I think from what I can tell, linebacker is the position on the field that's most like rugby.
yeah, you're probably
So
right.
the one season of American football that I played, they put me at linebacker a couple of times, and that was so much fun because literally like you just see try and follow where the ball goes. That was hard. I struggled sometimes. I went ran the wrong way a few times. Tried to tackle people that didn't have the ball. All that kind
Yep.
of fun stuff. But it
You
was
gotta,
cool, man. It was just cool, just hunting people. Whoever's got the ball, go and murder them.
well, and back in those days too, you're talking mid 90s, you would aim for their ear hole with your helmet. Like nowadays, you wouldn't see the second quarter doing that. Oh
And
yeah.
so the last few years, you've been coaching as well with football, right?
Yep.
How
Yep.
did
Been
how did
for
that go? How did that come about, and then how did you enjoy it?
honestly kind of came about with the kids. Legitimately, I was at the local high school, and football coach was like, "Hey man, we could use we could use some hands." I'm like, "Ah, all right, I'll jump." So I kind of rolled in, had no intention. Uh, Now back up a little bit. This is post competitive career, post
Yep.
powerlifting. I'd been fighting long COVID. I was in extreme pain, and you're just kind of looking for the spark a little bit, right? Just looking for a spark, and going on that field with the kids and their young, able bodies and kids who are coachable
Hmm.
was gave a whole lot of energy back to me, and so that's how I kind of got rolling. I enjoyed the guys, and then slowly, surely, you get to know each one of them. Then they want to join, start a powerlifting team, and then it just manifests. So yeah, that's how it came about, man. It just I think we both helped each other is what it
Hmm.
boiled down to.
I should ask you about that long COVID. Like, can you, well, just explain the long COVID? How long did you have it? How does it differ from having COVID? How much do you hate people like me that have never had COVID even once?
Uh, I hated you long before COVID. So, uh, what it was like. So, picture this: 2020 February. I'm hitting some boarded workouts and some full range workouts, 8.5 range. Just kind of just training weights. Uh, I get sick probably by, I would say, end of March. It's tough for me to do a push up,
Wow.
and like I was everything hurt bad, and I knew I had something because I had a fever for a few days, but when it receded, the fever, and went down, I felt horrible. That's all it went down to. And what was the most disappointing thing was the medical community going to two different like family docs. Oh, you were too abusive on your joints. You're too abusive. This is powerlifting catching up with you. And I'm
Hmm.
like, dude, no, no.
No.
You don't go from doing that in February to this in March. Like, it's not a thing. Went to a rheumatologist. First thing he did is grabbed a tablet. Wanted just, here's a drug. And I did not want to go that route. And so I kind of fought it on my own there for about a year, pretty much year to is about a March of 21. Finally found a rheumatologist that sat and talked and ran the right tests. And she's like, here's pretty much what you got. And she did mention the drug route too.
Hmm.
But during this whole time, I was studying pain relief, inflammation relief. Like I got food allergy testing. I looked pretty weird in my car over lunch doing Wim Hof breathing. Uh, I think one time I hit you up on some yoga stuff because you're
Hmm.
kind of a yoga guy at the time, and just anything. And I was grasping for stuff, and I went on about probably 2.5 years of meloxicam, which is kind of a long term NSAID, just to function and start lifting again. I went a whole
Hmm.
year I didn't touch a weight. That was the longest year of my life. I've never
Really?
done that since
Wow.
since age 14. I've never taken that break.
I don't think I even took. I don't think I took a year off after I had the strokes. Like
Yeah,
there's just something about there's. I think by now in my life there's something about lifting that if it doesn't happen at least semi regularly, then things aren't right.
yeah. I'm with
But
you. So yeah,
so
that
a
was
year is massive. That's huge.
that was a long run. Slowly but surely, I've gotten some gut health right. I've gotten the food right. My body feels really good. Uh, my markers, blood markers, are really good at this point. So I think that was just a great wake up call.
Mm-hmm.
From I used to be 372 pounds. That's what I weighed in January 1st of 2020. Was 372.
370. So what is that in real units? What's that like? I
How
don't
many
know.
stone? How many stones you mean?
How many stone? I used to hate it when every time Giles he would talk about stone. I'm like, dude, no one talks that way.
So I would have been 168.7.
Yeah, and given that you're only 5'2", that's quite big.
Hey, wait. Well, I got nothing to say. I'm 5'10" and 3/4.
The 3/4 count.
You gotta add that, man.
Oh
So
dear. So how has your life changed, or how has your diet changed then, from 2020 to now?
uh 2020 competing wise, it was my number one prerequisite to get as much protein in as I
Hmm.
could, and then whatever calories. I mean, I was a garbage disposal. I hate to say it. I look back and go, if I'd ran a much cleaner ship nutritionally and knew what foods inflamed me and stayed away from those, I think I could have hit much better numbers than I did. So nowadays, about 245 days ago, I did carnivore. It's a pretty strict carnivore diet for about, I think I'd win 120 days, and then I
Uh,
started
when
adding in.
when
Oh,
you say
good.
strict, like what are we talking about? What would a typical day's eating look like?
I would have eggs, Irish butter, and ribeye, and
Mm,
maybe hamburger, and then sirloin. That's about it, and a
right,
lot of salt.
and
And
a lot of salt.
honestly, I've had the biggest sweet tooth in my life, and the amount of fat and the amount of salt. Uh, absolute satiety. I didn't have any cravings. I haven't had a touch of natural or artificial food coloring or flavoring or bread or anything since October 7th.
Wow.
So and I was pretty pure there. And since then, I've added in more fish. I've added in chicken.
Hmm.
I'll allow myself some pork products, and then recently, like last 3 weeks, I just started adding in some potatoes and rice. Just post workout. I don't know. I'm close to my goal body weight. I kind of wanted to add that in and
Hmm.
just try and get a little bit better training. I wanted to get it better at.
Have you noticed any differences since you added carbs in?
Much fuller. My arms don't look so dang flat. Sounds so bodybuilderish of me,
Yeah,
but it's true.
yeah.
It's just like I just feel thicker. I feel better. Uh, but I can definitely see. I've talked to a few buddies on this too. Running back to that carnivore maybe periodically. Go on a 30 or 60-day carnivore kick and just kind of get that body reset and then bring the natural foods back into it. So that's kind of what I'm
Yeah,
thinking going forward.
I like that as a strategy. It's really similar to what I did. Um, I didn't stay carnivore anywhere near as long as you did, and I think even from the get go, I wasn't going strictly red meat only. I used a lot of chicken from at the start, uh, and that was just financial. And then slowly
It's
over time, started adding little bits of fruit, like just find whatever seasonal fruit, just a little bit of it, and then started adding in like sweet potato, and now I have a little bit of rice, but I found that I just didn't miss it at all. And like you said, the satiety was crazy. Like I couldn't believe that I wasn't hungry. And I was doing a lot of fasting with it as well. So I'd do like a 20 and 4 fast. Not because I think fasting is magical or does anything out of the ordinary, but just because it was easier to consume food that way. And it mean I could
Mhm.
have a big meal at night and feel full when I went to bed.
I've mixed in a lot of fasting too, like not a ton. Uh, if days I don't train, I might just do the intermittent, right? Just
Hmm.
wait till lunch or 1 o'clock to eat, and every once in a while I'll put in that 36 hour. Go to bed Saturday night, wake up and eat Monday.
Yep. Yep.
That's pretty easy one to follow.
The longest one I went for was 2 weeks. and that
Oh, sure.
was, yeah, like once it once I got to halfway through day three, there was no hunger, and I felt like I could live that way for the rest of my life. It was weird, really strange.
Have
Uh,
you seen that Rogan with Kevin James where Kevin James said he went like 60 days?
I'd believe it, totally believe it. I think if you're carrying as much extra weight as what I was or what Kevin James is, I think you can fast for a really long time and have no ill effects. You just,
We got the storage, pal. We got
you
the
know,
storage.
it's like you go intermittent fasting and go, yeah, well, I ate a lot from 2010 to 2020, so this next decade I'm just going to fast a bit, and over the course of 2 decades, you've got an even calorie distribution. You just have to
And
change the timeline,
isn't it the case? So
right?
yeah, no, there was good some great modifications there. I've done two different food allergy testing,
Hmm.
and dang near everything that was my staple foods when I competed was pissing my body off.
so what? So what's happened to that blue box? What was it the blue box craft mac and cheese?
Oh yeah, that I'd travel
Yeah,
with. That's a
yeah.
Brad
The
Gillingham trick. I can't even take claim on that one.
oh really?
Oh yeah, bring your boxes of mac and cheese and cook them up and just eat. But yeah, no more of that. I think next time if I compete and when I compete, it'll be a lot tighter restrictions. I think traveling over and back.
Hmm. So let's talk about that if and when you compete. So there was that cryptic little post yesterday on Instagram or whatever, a whole bunch of shirts and whatnot. So what's going on with that?
Training's been going really well. Body
Hmm.
weight. I never want to compete as a super again. Uh, so kind of looking at some of the records in the IPF,
Hmm.
and I'm seeing, and I'm at 48 years old, 48 and a half. So I'm on the cusp of ending M1 and beginning M2. So it might be a pretty good time to roll back in
Hmm.
and take a stab at some things and have some fun. And you know how fun it was talking to Matt Craig yesterday and just talking shirts and talk. It's been forever since I've done that. We're talking about my last order was in what do you say, May of 2019 with
Hmm.
Titan. So I go out to my shed and I'm very weird. And so I talked to Matt on serial numbers and different shirts I had and sizing. I'm like, okay, I don't ever throw a shirt away. And all my bench shirts are still in the package with the meat that I did written on them and what I accomplished in that shirt. So I'm going through my stack and here I'm finding some brand new shirts. I was very blessed. Titan was very good to us and good to me. And so I found some brand new shirts in there and I'm going, I, I can't get that. Almost get it up the elbow. That should be a good starter shirt for me.
Yeah, yeah.
So I found a couple starter shirts to kind of start playing with, and that was kind of exciting. Now I just got to get a crew around because quit lifting is not for the solo people. So
I don't believe you.
well,
Do it solo. Do it solo.
you
Man
no,
up. Come on.
uh,
If I
no,
if
I
I can if I can do it, you can do it.
you and Kent are the only two idiots to lift off. Not idiots, gentlemen I respect that lift off on their own. That was crazy watching that. I don't think there's any way I'd have that to bring out.
It's a fun party trick. It really is. Um, but that was only because we had like really rubbish people doing lift outs for a long time at comps that I was going to. And when I saw Kent, so was it 2010 is when I met Kenta and I watched him lift out and win. I'm like going, oh, that's cool. I want to be able to do that. So I really only want to do it just because somebody else could do something I couldn't do. And
Yeah,
I don't like it when people can do stuff that I can't. So I taught myself.
true. No, so no, just kind of that urge to get back maybe a little bit,
Hmm.
uh, train for something, and the calendar lines up well actually because I think Powerlifting America, the new affiliate for the IPF, is they have their bench nationals I think in January February.
Right.
So I got a lot of time. Like that's what I like about it. I'm almost at body weight. I got a lot of time. I'm not going to do it unless it's going to be calculated, and I'm going to do it well. Uh,
Hmm.
and so yeah, then I think it's Poland next year's Worlds. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm looking forward to Poland. I want to put my hand up to coach again, do that one. Um, Hopefully, like the next few years, turn up to bench worlds each year as a coach with the Australian team and try and build some good Australian bench presses. Hopefully, convince people to put some shirts on as well, which would be fun. But Poland, I think, would be a much better travel because it's going to be cheaper, um, and we won't know what we're eating, which is far more exciting.
Never been there, man. It's I've been
Yeah,
all
I
around
haven't.
it, but never been there.
Yeah, I haven't been either. I just figure everything's going to be sausages and some kind of gravy, like in the Czech Republic.
Yeah, or South Africa. Were you in South Africa? You they
No,
put
I
they put
I've never been to
sauce on
South Africa.
everything.
Really?
You tell them no sauce. Come out with sauce on it. It's like, what are you doing? So yeah. Anyways, no, that's kind of the plans. Hopefully, see what
Okay.
happens.
So what? Tell me about the records in the 120s.
Oh, you're gonna make me think of them offhand.
Who
I think
who
that
have you
I think
who have you decided to target more? The
well, as much as I'm not really fixated on the M1 120s because I think that record's at like 804. So what is that? Hold on.
365.
So 365. Not being in the shirt for a long time. That's a load. That's a load. And I'm relatively sure that gentleman was probably in his early 40s when he did it. Not. I mean, next year I'll be 49.
Is
I'll
that
be.
Mongolian?
I believe it's Ukraine.
Ukrainian? Okay.
Ukraine. And then, but when you get into them twos, I think you're at 661 on the 120 side,
Okay.
and on the super side or supers it's 711.
Okay.
So, and this might be a 2-year thing. Then once I'm 50 and I get that, then I'm good.
Well, then once you get 50, you could just flick between 120 plus and under 120 and try and destroy everything that David Dowen ever did.
I don't
Just
think I do
make it
that. Don't.
just make
I
it
mean,
personal.
you can't do that to Doan. I mean, now if I wipe my sweat and everything else off with a Lombardi, towel and some crappy Green Bay Packers stuff, there you go. But no, I don't even know who has the records there. But I don't know. It sounds fun. So
Well,
I
it'd be
and
good to see you back out there.
now
That's for sure.
here's a question for you. Did they make a rule against doing M1 and opens?
I don't know. I think they did. I think you have to choose one or the other.
Yes, that's as you guys say over there. It's rubbish. Where's that? Is that
Rubbish.
England?
Yeah, that's us. We say rubbish. We're still very British with our cussing.
I got my modern toss book from Mark Giles, and it's great stuff. That you kind of learn on how to speak like a true English guy, except for that Mike Gibson. Remember Mike Gibson? Not even English people understand the Irishman.
Oh, yeah, yeah. No, he's hard to follow.
He would
He
stand there and talk to us for 5 minutes,
and
and
you
I
look
didn't catch a thing.
you start heads start tilting a lot when
The,
Irish people speak. You
the
know,
beauty
even
is he
better,
knew.
drunk Irish are the best because they speed up. They speed up when they get drunk, which I think is. She's going, how are you speeding up? We're all slowing down when I start getting drunk and I go to half speed. Uh, I think they'd go double and triple speed. They're fun.
Oh goodness. Yeah. Which what's your next one, buddy?
My next one, that's I don't know. That's always the thing. If Poland next year, that's what I'm thinking about. And then looking for coaching positions for the rest of the year, um, whether they're here or abroad. I'm not really sure. I think there's a couple of regionals. I'm not going to Japan. There's Asian Championships in Japan, which is coming up soon. I didn't put in for that. That's just more expenses. Um,
Yeah.
I'm starting to get a bit more savvy about where I travel to because there's getting there, the cost of getting there and the hotels and whatever. But then, you look like at places like Norway and Denmark and Sweden, and it's so expensive to eat for the week, and so it kind of doubles the prices.
Sorry.
That's all right. But there's a comp in New Zealand towards the end of the year. Oceanias. I might apply to coach that team, and then maybe like we're thinking about World Masters in South Africa. But then that would break my rule of going to South Africa. So I don't know. We'll see.
But I mean, the amazing thing to all of us was when you traveled overseas, like we would leave the meet, you'd leave the meet. I would come home and work for a few days, get over jet lag. And then like Nathan's like, oh, I just got home.
Yeah. Is there a picture of
Holy
me having?
crap, man.
Here's me drinking coffee at Melbourne Airport. Only 5 hours left.
Gosh, that's crazy. But yeah. So I don't know, competing. So let's complain about people.
All right.
Actually, you know what? I got a
Who?
question for you.
Yeah, sure.
Your favorite banquet, favorite world's banquet ever, and
Pilsen.
why?
Uh,
Ooh,
Pilsen, because they had a chocolate fountain and
I
really
remember
cheap
that.
beer. Yeah.
That was my second world's,
Yep.
and I remember that vividly because Johnny Walquist came up and he wanted to go. He wanted to go out in the town, and he was also one that couldn't really understand him much, and he had had his fair share, right? Big
Oh
beard,
yeah. Yeah.
and he was trying to coax us into going out in the town, and like all the guys from Sweden are like, "Don't do it, don't."
Nope. Nope.
Never forget. Mine was probably Sweden, Sundsvall.
Oh wow. Who was that? Who was that kid that didn't make it home? He was sharing a room with Ryan Carrillo.
Richard Pena.
Penny. That's
Pena,
right.
Pena.
I
You know
just
the bet.
yeah, let me, oh wow. That was
And,
every time I turned around he wanted to do another Jaeger bomb because I think he was just really psyched to be hanging out with the big boys for one night.
Mhm.
And what he was like 93 kilo class or somewhere around there. He wasn't,
And
like I'm sure when he went back to Texas and hanging out with his college mates, he was the big guy, but he wasn't the big guy there, and he was trying to hang out with all of us and drink. And so I just remember having lots and lots of Jaeger bombs with him. For me, nothing was happening. I wasn't getting drunk. I'd had way too much ammonia at the competition, so I was just evening out. Um, and then I remember going down to breakfast in the morning, and Ryan came down and he said, "Hey, did he make his training?" He goes, "No, no, no. He's lying in a pool of his own vomit on the bathroom floor."
no, so that same breakfast, me and you were facing. I'm just drinking coffee and eating eggs, and we looked to our right, and they had little taller counters, and they had something on the back of the counter. You remember this? Something on the very back of the counter, and Marcus Schick needed to grab that thing. So he, so, so he's hopping, right? He's hopping to get this. And we're both not feeling well. And then all of a sudden Marcus turns around and just goes, to me and you.
oh,
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 that
wow.
that and you about died laughing because earlier in the week, here I'm driving in Sundsvall, Sweden, beautiful town. As an American, I come up to a red light. I take a right on red, and you simply go, man, I don't think you can do that here.
Yeah.
And there's one guy walking on the street. One dang guy witnesses this. Guess who comes up to me at the banquet? And you're standing right there. Hey, man, I saw you turn red on right this week.
Yeah, no, you can't do that in Sweden.
No, I can't do that. Oh, that was a good time. And then
Oh
Donovan
man.
Thompson. We can say what we want about his wife's benching, his coaching. He's awesome at it. But his sixth sense is knowing when you're this far from being done with your drink. Because at that banquet,
Oh,
he's
I
nuts.
right?
Because
He was
like I would
nuts.
be right here and he like whistle and you'd be like all the way over and you'd turn and there'd be this weird eye contact and he'd just go and he'd have a whole
Yeah.
line.
Yeah.
It was the worst but the best at the same time.
Yeah, that was. I remember being like, I was just kind of tired. I wasn't in the mood, and I kept on thinking, I'm going to finish this beer, and I'm going to go back to my room. I'm going to get some sleep. I'm not going to wake up with a hangover. I woke up with a big hangover and it was Donovan every time. Like
Hmm.
every time I got to that last mouthful, I'd turn around, and he wouldn't be even close, and there would be a beer in front of me. I was like, how did you do that? Where did you come from? Just magic appearance. It's great.
Yeah, yeah, that was classic. Love that stuff, man.
But that 2012 banquet, I just remember how cheap the beer was in Pilsen,
Yeah,
and feeling the need to drink more because the more you drank, the cheaper it got.
wasn't it free? At the banquet is free.
Oh, it was, wasn't it?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it was on tap, and then the rest of the week, I figure it worked out to about $1 Australian for a pint of beer,
That's crazy.
which was awesome. I know I went traveling for a couple of days after that. Like you and Dennis came up for like half a day and then flew out early out of Prague. Me and Avi Silverberg stayed in Prague for a couple of days, and so we would go out we would go out for breakfast. It would be 9:30 in the morning, and you sit down at a cafe, and the waiter would walk out, see that we're obviously not from around there. We're not locals. That we're tourists, and they'll just go. They wouldn't even walk over. They'd just put their hand up and go, 2 beers, and I'm just going. I wouldn't mind a cup of tea first. Like, can I get a coffee and then a beer after? But yeah, 9:30 in the morning in Prague, they'll serve you beer.
So we were
Well,
in
they'll
Prague
push
too.
beer. Yeah.
We were in Prague too the next day. Jerry, Dennis, and Snyder and me. And we went down to the square. Never forget it. Here's this beautiful restaurant tucked beside the building. You couldn't quite see the church there. And Dennis is like, I don't want to eat in here. I want to see that. I want to eat out here. And they're like, but sir, that's a sidewalk. Dennis is like, I know. And he pulls out a wad of cash. They had people grab the tables, they grabbed everything, put it outside. So here, people who are locals are walking along, and they almost running into us because they're not expecting a table and some Americans sitting on the sidewalk. Oh, that's good stuff. Then Dennis, I remember the waiter came and Dennis pulls out cash and he throws it at the guy. He goes, "No, no, you tip afterwards." Dennis goes, "No, I've been in Europe for a whole week. Your service sucks. This guarantees the service is good, right?" Guy goes, "Yes, sir."
Yep.
It's good.
How many Dennis Cherry stories do you have that at some point in the story there is the line? And so Dennis pulled out a wad of cash.
Oh yeah, yeah. It happened routinely.
Because
I
I can
love
think
the.
of about 3 or 4 times where that was the crux of the story, and that's how we got through. Was so Dennis pulled out a wad of cash,
Mhm. Oh yeah,
and then everything got better.
he was the best was in the Czech where it's some pub and he's doing magic tricks.
Oh yeah, that's
And,
the same place where Tim Anderson deliberately lost an arm wrestle to what could only have been a model, so that the models would stay and drink with the group for longer.
yeah, that was
Yeah.
another Dennis trick. But
Yep.
the magic trick was so amazing was Dennis is doing this to woo this girl, and Jeff Snyder is like right here, and is and is so absolutely enamored by the trick. It just completely stole the thunder. Jeff's like, "Whoa, how'd you do that?" Good stuff, man.
Yeah, I remember that bar. I for some reason I came in a little bit after you guys. I think me and Donovan were finishing a drink elsewhere, and so we came in and we walked down because like dungeon little place, wasn't it? And we walked
Oh
in,
yeah.
we got down there, and by the time we got down there, Dennis was behind the bar doing a magic trick. I'm like, what is he
Oh,
doing? He's gone, and that's when Donovan just said, "Just go with it." I'm like, all right, cool. Dennis is doing magic tricks behind the bar, and then he paid a girl $100. Yeah, he bet her $100, wasn't it? That
for
Tim could beat
arm
her
wrestling.
in an arm wrestle. So
Yeah, because he
Tim
better.
deliberately lost.
And then he paid her the 100, then says, "Now that you got the 100, you got to buy us drinks."
That's the one.
That's what Dennis did.
So smooth.
Such a deal. So anyway, let's go to complaining. We've had some good times here.
Um, let's complain about Jeff Snyder. I never see him. I don't know what he's doing.
I never hear from him either. I don't know.
I
It's like we lost one of our brothers
It's a shame. If we got him back, he'd be like an M3, wouldn't he?
or four. Sorry,
M4 and still fat.
with the better tattoos than you and I,
I don't have tattoos.
and definitely I had the best entrance strategy into small cars as a super heavyweight.
Oh yeah, those Europe. What's where I know the car you're talking about. It was the Audi A3 or something or A5,
Yeah.
and we ordered a full. That was the full size car. Like I remember, and slut doesn't mean slut in Denmark. We worked that out really fast because we would you would miss your flight across, and me and Jeff landed within about 30 minutes of each other. He was already at the car rental place sorting out the paperwork, and we're going through it, and it gets to the end and just says SLUT at the end of the contract, and so I just showed it to the girl behind the counter and said, I don't think this means what it does in English. And she just laughed and she goes, "Oh no, that just means stop. That means at the end." And so we're like, "Oh, okay, yeah, it doesn't mean that in English."
No.
But yeah, when they said yeah, it's an Audi A3 or A5 or something like that, I just looked at them and go, "That's not a full size car. That's a micro. That's a
Hmm.
micro where I'm from."
That
So
that was where
yeah,
that's where those young boys asked Jeff for his autograph, and they thought it was me.
that's the one.
You thought that was the funniest thing
That
ever.
was the best thing. That was the best thing of all time. Because I was like, because I figure what happened was they're like, oh yeah, they're two bald guys that look pretty similar. One's obviously Australian. The Australian, that's Nathan Baxter. Yeah, we don't want his autograph. He's not that good. But we know Nathan Baxter and Jona Leo are often together and they look the same. And so that guy with him, he's definitely American. He's definitely bald and he's got a goatee. All right. And so they've come over asking for, and they were so respectful. And they were so sweet, and you could tell that they were nervous coming over to want to talk. And so I let them go for a bit, and that's when I stepped in, leaned in, and go, "You know, this isn't Jona Leo, right?" And they literally walked away at that point. They didn't say anything else. They just they just looked slightly disappointed, going, "Oh," and then wandered off.
Isn't that just crazy? The
Jeff, and Jeff, you can imagine the look Jeff gave me, right? Just kind of look. And he said, Jona doesn't hear about this
dude, that's the first
at
thing you
all.
told me when I got off the plane.
I, you weren't even like, you weren't even at the car. I had my head out the window going, you're never going to believe what happened. Jeff had already told me 3 times. He goes, don't you dare, don't you dare, don't you dare. I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm doing
Oh,
this.
that was
It's
great.
too good.
That was great. Now, it's amazing as stories like that of just like kids who want pictures, and then I never thought as if competing and winning is anything. It's a niche sport, so I didn't think of it as popularity contests like they might nowadays. But
Mm,
uh, I still remember 2017 Lithuania, Dean Bowring, Easton Schuster, Mark Giles. We go to this old Soviet weight room. We go down these cool stairs. These guys will not take our money.
hmm
Right. So we get this little workout in a Soviet era weight room. Cool. Cool. And we leave. Well, then the next day, Giles goes back, catches a workout, and he gets talking to the guys, and he comes back later to the hotel and says, "Hey man, those guys knew who you were, so that's why they wouldn't take our money." I'm like flattered, I'm like, "Oh man, it's really cool." The very next week, I go into a local gym that's like 6 blocks from my house. Like it's just, just a light workout place. The lady damn near tackled me from behind for my card to prove who I was. Like, do you have your membership card? I'm like, no. It's like, here's my number, here's my name. You need it. Go on. I kind of want to say, dude, I was in Lithuania a week ago. They knew me. Like, you work here every day. You don't know me. Like, at least get to know your customers, people. So
Yeah, it's really odd,
humbling.
isn't it? It's very odd. I always like it when I was at university a few years ago, one of the lecturers or assistants or whatever in anatomy, she said, "Oh, so you were? I just found out you're really famous. I googled you." I'm gone. No. That's not fame. That's like a few people in a very select group of amongst a very select group of people know my name, but that's it. Outside of that, it's a nobody situation.
I had one of my young athletes chat GPT me this year. Boy, I
Oh,
sounded
really?
really, really good on there. Distinguished American powerlifter. I'm like, oh, wow.
Distinguished. Oh,
Sounded pretty cool.
yeah. I do like my AI write up on Google at the moment. Looks pretty good. I would I would hire that guy as a coach. I really maybe I just cut and paste and put that on my website and go this yeah I'm cool,
Throw a little Grammarly, you're good to go.
right? So let's complain about some stuff. Like you said, this is a good point to complain about. Um, your what was it, 2013 or 14 or 13, right? Was your first world championship that you won?
13.
13.
Yep.
How many videos do you have of that day?
Uh, I've got probably 10 or 15 training videos leading up to it
Mm-hmm.
that I would send Donovan and Tim and people who there's good piece of advice out there. I only I'm only listening to people that I would actively seek out for criticism.
Yep.
So Donovan, Tim, I didn't know you at the time much. So I would send it to some of the bigger lifters and it's like criticize it. Coach Gillespie, he was another
Yep.
one, and they'd pick it apart. Okay, all right, I got to improve this,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a far better mentality that I felt than people like attaboys, let's pat your back, and there's a far difference between a friend and an ally, right? A friend
Yep.
tells you what you want to hear, ally tells you what you need to hear, and I needed allies. And but I probably had like 10 training videos that my first worlds. There might be 2 videos out there of that,
Mm-hmm.
and honestly, I didn't have social media at the time either. So people were telling me that I was trending on. We're down at the Lithuanian bar afterwards, and they're telling me I'm trending. I'm like, I don't know what that is. Like,
What is
what's
a
trending?
trender? Trending where?
Is it cool? You know?
Do
So
people
apparently
like
that's
me now?
trending. So
Right.
back then they're sending text to my. I guess I had an iPhone at least, but they're sending me text my iPhone of what I was doing on social media. So yeah, that's where my I was at on it.
How many world titles did you get by the end?
Did four world championships, 5 world records, and 3 silvers.
3 silver. Two of the, and they were always to a Finnish lifter, wasn't it? Damn Finns.
I hate those guys. The problem is they're such good guys that you feel guilty hating
Twice
them.
to
No.
Freddie Schmulter. Freddie. Freddie
Two to
were very
Freddie,
strong.
1 to Ove. So yeah. It's there's a few medals in there.
Yeah, we were taught the Uvaloto story came up when I was in Norway having I went out for pancakes and ice cream with Kenta. And that story did come out after about an hour and a half. Who was it? Robert Keller turned up, and we just swapping stories about different things that happened. And I think Finn's like telling that story of the day that Uva beat you.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I'm not sure. Well, he lifted more than you on the day, but it was that was pretty unlucky because you went straight to
90.
410.5, right?
Yeah, I went to 903 right away. It and honestly, it took me. I bet it took me 8 months to watch that video. After losing.
Yeah, right.
And it took me 8 months to watch it. When I watched it, I wanted to have a non-judgmental view and watch. I've watched it just once,
Mm-hmm.
and I will still say that my second attempt, 903, was far more locked out. But I wasn't the judge in the chair, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and you're while we're on it, we'll keep complaining. How much more locked out does and people will they can argue about this if they want. How much more do you have to be locked out as an American than European lifters do at world meets in Europe?
I don't know. I mean, I can't say one
Yeah,
way or
see,
another.
this is where I need Jeff right now. I need
You know,
Jeff's
I know this much. I mean, I know we had an American on the platform in Sweden. I was turned down 2 to 1. And I had an American shoot me a red, and
mm-hmm.
cost me a title in Sweden in 2015. So that happens. But I will say this much on a world record side of things: records should be scrutinized very well.
Oh,
Uh,
absolutely. Yeah.
So, and I think that's a situation I was in, first cracking at 903, and obviously setting a record at a high bar. They needed to keep a strict rein on it. But
Yeah.
I believe that Johnny Bogart said one time that nobody loves Americans like Americans love Americans. So I'm still trying to kind of decipher exactly where he was going with it, but I can kind of see through the weeds what he's talking about there.
Yeah, there's a lot in that. There's a lot in that, which is pretty special for John Bogart to be so
That
to
was
say
that was
something so
special.
wise and profound. I'm sure he didn't mean to.
And okay, I got to tell this story, Johnny Bogart story. I'm going down to Sweden, or sold in Austria. We're riding together,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm a brand new guy in the world scene, so I'm expecting to pick this guy's brain on training stuff, and it worked for him. So no one can say anything bad about it. So I go, so John, tell me about your training days. Well, his exact words were, when it feels light, I go heavy. When it's heavy, I go light. And that was it. And I was like, wow, okay, maybe it's that simple. But yeah, that was some
Certainly
prophetic
worked for him.
words.
Worked for
It
him. Let,
Yep.
let's. I'm going to chop that up afterwards, and I'll send it to Mike Teixeira and go, "Hey, John Bogart figured you out years ago. That's the whole system, right?" John Bogart was the greatest ever at using RPEs, even greater than the founder.
He's right ahead of you. Anyway, where were we going with that?
I have no idea.
God, we were going somewhere.
I never know where I'm going with anything. Things just work out or they don't. Um, so four world championships, 5 world records. Tell us about the first world record, because that overlapped with the first. Was that your first world record? Was also your first world championship?
Yep. So
Because this is one of the. Unfortunately, I couldn't afford the airfare for this one, so because that was Lithuania. Is that
yep,
correct? Yep.
that was probably by far my most memorable, obviously because it's the first one. But I just figured out the equipment thing. First time I didn't try and diet after a meet, so all my equipment's fitting good. And Sinji Uda's the kind of the guy to beat.
Mm-hmm.
And Sinji's awesome, great. I love that guy. Anyways, we're sitting there watching, and Tim and Donovan come over and go, "Hey man, if we bump your opener just a little bit, you got to go after Sinji because he's lighter than you and he's got lot number."
Mm-hmm.
That's a no brainer, dude. Like, I will consistently be chasing him all day unless I do this. So with 5 minutes and 1 second left in the flight, bam, we go up 2.5 keys. No one else does. I'm now after Sinji. We both hit our openers. Second attempt, Sinji comes out. He ups mine. We're currently I believe we're already at world record numbers because we're now chipping on second
Mm-hmm.
attempts. He dumps his second one, and I smoked mine. That was the only meet I've ever gone 9 white lights. Like everything's crisp. And in third attempts, we come out, and Sinji comes out, and he chips me, hits it. At that point, he's standing on top of the bench and flexing and cheering, and
Everyone's going nuts.
that pisses me off. Like that, just I know he didn't mean to be disrespectful, but it was. And so that was just like light it up, man. So where they put on the extra little silver chip, and I went out there and smoked it and walked off doing this. Didn't stand on any bench, didn't need any fanfare, don't care. I won. Bye. So yeah, that's how that one happened. But yeah, 3 for 3 day, 2 world records on that one there. So
Wow.
that was very fun and a great battle. I mean, that's what of all 4 of my world championships, this is something that I don't think many people know. I never got to swing for the fences for any of them. My first one, I had to hit my third
Mm-hmm.
attempt to beat Sinji to win. My second one was in 16. I was 0-2. I missed my first 2. We threw some weight on the bar because at that point, who wants to swing for silver? And I hit
What did you hit
uh
that day?
865. So that 395.2, is it?
Right. Yep. Yeah.
And then
392.5. Yeah.
392.5. And then 17 was my FUB, my mess up year. which it's good lesson to learn. Every one of my high school athletes I train now, man, they ain't making that mistake,
Yep.
and I make for sure. Then in 18, going against Augie from Mongolia, I was coaching there all week long. Stupidest thing I did was try and lift after coaching. Went 0-2,
Mm-hmm.
got my third attempt for the win, and in finally in Japan, hit my first, missed my second, and then I had to hit my third for the win.
Yep.
So I never had the luxury of really loading up and swinging for it. I always had that pressure on me, which probably one of the most meaningful words I've ever had was 2016. I was 0-2, and Donovan and Tim were talking. And Donovan told me at the banquet that night that they were questioning whether they should move me up. And Tim just looked at Donovan and said, "Dude, he's clutch. He's got it." And like that,
Yeah.
that's to this day sticks with me. It's like clutch. I love that. So
Yep.
yeah,
I love that whole clutch thing. For me, that's what separates like great lifters from really great lifters. Like, can you do it when it matters? Like when it really matters, and everything is against you. Um, how do you think you develop that clutch thing? Where does that come from?
I honestly don't know. I think it's just an inner competitive junglistic spirit that
Mm-hmm.
I do encompass that I rarely let out. And unfortunately, it's been suppressed for like 4 or 5 years right now. I see it a little bit like when I'm coaching football. Uh, there's sometimes I'm right there. Uh, it's not me. It's the athlete. You know, I wish I could put on the pads. I can't. So you can only live vicariously through people so long.
Yep.
Uh, so I don't know whether it's my upbringing as a farm kid in the middle of Nebraska and having to do that, and some of the things you face as a kid. I don't know whether it was developed that way, but now, I mean, to this day, oh, I'm cramping. Hold on. It was a good workout today. So anyway, I honestly don't know. Uh, but I love it. I love that pressure being on, and that's probably what I miss the most is just getting absolutely out of your gourd in your head.
Mm-hmm.
And in the world of bench pressing, you got to get here, but still think.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's this perfect space you can live in between where you get too high, you're making mistakes. You don't get high enough, you're not hitting weights. So I love living in that space. And I hate losing. Like I was way more motivated by the silvers on my wall behind me than I was my golds. Like
Hmm.
golds, like okay, golds. Honestly, there's an emptiness after them because it's like I hit my goal. Okay, another new one. And I was very thankful to have guys like Freddie and guys, Ove. I couldn't wait for Ove to come back,
Mm-hmm.
and he never did. Bastard, great guy though. Uh, but I loved it. Just yeah, the whole essence of competitiveness.
Mm-hmm.
So
So, of the people that you got beaten by, which one hurt the most?
uh, probably the 17 because that was my own doing.
Yep.
That was my doing. It hurt worse. It was my mistake. They did not take it by force. Took it by mistake.
Yeah. Do you want to tell the story?
Well, I mean,
Because people weren't, because no one told the story on Instagram.
so
Because
2017, I was probably at my strongest. Elbows felt good. Lock, I felt really good. Opened up at 848 over in Lithuania, round two,
so
and I believe,
380 or 385 or something like that. Kilos.
yeah, hold on here. It's on one of those 385. So
385.
I opened up there,
So
and
just for context, because I just got to remember people are going to listen to this. 385, only a couple of years earlier, would have been a massive world record, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yep, because I think that 360 That's what 794. That was a world record when I set it. And actually,
Yeah.
the 848 or the 385 is still the M1 world record. So I open up at the M1 world record, and it's a smoke show. Ove, I don't know if he'd cracked 800 at the point. He might have done 804.
He hadn't. No. He
So
went so far above all of his his previous attempts that day.
yep, yep. And that one, the reason that hurts bad too is it's my mistake, and I couldn't answer the call. Like I couldn't do it. And so basically, Ope's in a swinging battle with everybody in the higher 700s. I believe a Swede misses. He's got silver locked after his second attempt. And I came, and sorry, back up. My second attempt, I came out. I jumped right to 903. Donovan and Tim and I, and even Doan, we just kind of chatted it out. We underestimated the guy.
Mm-hmm.
Learned a lesson there. You don't do that. So we underestimated him. Made the call shot to make a run at 900. It's the chance of getting that on your second attempt versus third with that sort of weight. It has probably a higher probability.
Yep.
And nothing else in between there was going to kind of satisfy the urge for me at the point, other than World Championship, obviously. Well, then we loaded up. It gets turned down 2-1. And then Ove's in his battle with the Swede and has silver lock, so he loads it to 848. He has me on body weight, so he loads it 385, and he hits it. He gets the judge's favor, and then it's all on me, and just couldn't. 2 900 attempts in a row, I just couldn't do it, And I was 40, 42, so it's not like I was old or young, but it just couldn't do it. So that was an ultimate lesson learned. So
if you had your time again, what would the attempts be?
I think I would have just gone like 87.5, 387.5, maybe 390 at most.
Mm-hmm.
But that's all I would have done. I wouldn't have gone any higher. I would have got myself in that position. And then, so if he did want to swing for the 854, then I could reciprocate with a 859. So that's what would have happened.
Yep.
But because nobody remembers who wins the Arnold, and nobody remembers who wins the Pro Series, and quite honestly, nobody really remembers the records or the attempts to speak of. People remember the World Championship. So
yep. So you went to 410.5. Who had 410 at the time?
I think it's Blaine.
Right.
Blaine had it.
And was that fairly? He'd just done it that year at the Arnold's. Was that the one?
I think that is the
2017
one.
Arnold's. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, interesting. And Blaine had done the previous year. I remember in 2016 he hit a world record. I think it was in the 3 lift though, wasn't it? He did the bench world record in a 3 lift, and I remember you weren't very happy about that.
Any good competitor is not going to be happy when something gets broke, right?
Right.
So
yeah, I remember that because his. I don't know. There was a couple of things that I noticed about that lift, and you got mad at me and had to go at me, and I said I was the only one that threw a red.
Were you on that platform?
Yeah, I was on that platform. That was me, Priscilla Ribic, and the dude from US Virgin Islands.
Oh yeah.
And I think he's got his finger permanently on white anyway. He doesn't really seem to do much, and I thought I had issues with that lift, and so I threw a red. I always thought it was interesting that they let me referee supers like that, especially like people that I competed against, and especially the fact that I had relationships with a lot of people in that era. And they go, "Oh, you'll be impartial." So I go, "I think I was."
Yeah.
But you're right that no one I've been saying it for years. No one remembers the record attempt, but they remember if you're a dick.
There is that.
There's that.
Or
There's always
or
that.
they just, or in my case, they just don't remember you.
You should go, who are you? Have you lifted before? What's it like? When was the last time you went to a powerlifting meet?
How big of a meet?
Any size? One that you didn't run.
You know, honestly, I coach our Sioux Falls Christian high school powerlifting team,
Mm-hmm.
and so I had, what do we have? 20 athletes, and in my gym, Liberty Barbell, we bring them together. It doesn't matter what school you are.
Mm-hmm.
If you're good, if you're a good human, and you're addition, not a subtraction to the group. I don't care if you go to some other school and score their points. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you PR'd and you feel good about yourself, you're part of the crew. So
Awesome.
I don't know. Mid March was our last meet. Uh, yeah, first year in existence, our high school team won state, so that was pretty fun to
There
see.
you go. Nice. I'm really interested to see how people like. Do people know who you are, or did they go, "Oh, that's Jona Leo, the coach"?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. Uh,
It's come up a couple of times recently for me because I went to age group nationals a few weeks, like the week before I went to Norway. I was in Sydney for masters and juniors. Caught up with Liz Craven. She's still she's an M2 and she's still winning the opens. She's incredible, just amazing lifter. And she said to me, she goes, "Is it weird for you, Nathan, to turn up to these places and nobody knows who you are?" I go, "Yeah, a little." I said, "What about for you?" And she goes, "I'm still lifting and people don't know who I am." I'm going, it's a really, really funny thing that I think happened around COVID, where
yeah, but
people just started watching themselves on their phone. They don't even watch other people on their phones anymore.
well, and I sit back and look at it, and go, okay, why did I get into it? Was it
Mm-hmm.
to be known? Was it so people would? Or did I do it because I truly love the competition? I love the art. Like Coach Gillespie says, you'll fall in love. You'll fall in love with the process,
Yes.
almost as much as more than the titles. And honestly, like that's where I was at on it. It's like if people remember me, great. If they don't. Like I did it for me at that point. I
Yeah.
didn't do it for likes or for the gram or any of that sort of stuff. Uh, and just had a blast. And I think that takes a lot of pressure off too. The fact when you do it because you love it.
Yeah. I'm watching a lot of. I'm really interested in how people manage their social media profiles in powerlifting now because I noticed with a couple of people they've been to one nationals and they have more lifting videos and photos of one competition than I did in any of my 70 combined. Um, I'm going, that's a lot. I think that's a lot of pressure to constantly pump out things to your friends and your family who aren't really that interested in powerlifting anyway, but you've got to constantly show them that you're slightly better than before and it's slightly flashy and you really got to sell the accomplishment. Um,
But that can
that's just my.
backfire.
I
That
think
can
that I
backfire
think
so bad.
yeah, I think it is backfiring. I think it's unnecessary pressure.
It's like,
That's just my
oh,
take on it though.
I double a seven whatever in practice, and then they go shit the bed at the meet. It's
Right?
like where we at in. We only have a finite amount of energy. You know this better than me.
Yeah.
We have a finite amount of energy. If you focus on putting things on here and trying to get notoriety there, I don't know if you can focus as much on your training and how it maybe truly felt. Now, I get the feedback,
Mm-hmm.
the videos. Like, but if it's truly your videos and you're looking for feedback, like that's between you and coach.
Yep.
Great. Use your tripod, go for it. If you're doing it to just post repeated content, okay, like I guess I'd use my energy differently, but I'm also old. And
I yeah. Yeah, I agree with you on both counts. Uh, I am old, and I would prefer to put my energy elsewhere. I was thinking back to going back to Blaine. I know he went through a few different iterations of posting and not posting, and I think the couple of years where he turned things around, he wasn't posting much at all. And he would send videos of his squat because he bombed on squat 2 years in a row at USAPL Nationals, and it just did his head in. He thought everyone was against him. They might have been, who knows? But he would send videos to Randy Earl and I, and every week me and Randy would go, "Yeah, man, you're high." And then after about 3 months of doing this, Randy sent me a message going, "Nathan, why do you keep saying that? Like he's at depth." And I've gone, "Let's never tell him he's at depth. Just make him squat everything a little bit deeper and be an asshole to him for a year." But at the end of that year, he won nationals and he went on a tear after that. And squat depth was never an issue again. We just had to be assholes to him for a year in order for that to happen. But
Well, it's
if you
what
post
I
that on social media, though, you get 50-50 feedback with some people wanting to go, "Oh, nah, man, you were ripped off. That was a good squat. I think it's good." And then some decent feedback, and then people just chiming in because they want to have an opinion.
but why are people doing it? Right? To get validation?
Yep.
Like winning is getting validation. Like I'd much rather people and I purposely wouldn't put stuff out there. I love Titan. I loved my sponsors at the time, but I
Mm-hmm.
hated the dang social media they'd make you do. You know, it's like you got to do 2 posts a month or whatever it was. Like, fine. You know, so then I'd post, but I used it as strategy personally. I didn't use it as validation. I don't know if you remember this one. There was a Worlds I was going against Freddie and someone else, and I do exactly what new kids nowadays do opposite of. Kids nowadays, they might hit a great weight in March
Mm-hmm.
and then just post it sometime in June to make everyone think they just hit it. You know, uh, I actually, I actually got turtled. We call it turtled. I came down and I mean, everything was out of whack and it hit the uprights and I'm wedged underneath there. It looked horrible. And so what I decided to do is I decided to put that out there and like the Tuesday before the world meet. Man, openers didn't go as good as I was hoping. And oh
Because
yeah, man, like the number of guys who took the bait on that one, they'd show
how
up,
did
oh man, what was wrong? I don't know. I just haven't been feeling good. And then you go down that web of pissing with them in the head,
mm-hmm.
and then show day comes around and you win. So
How did Freddie handle that? Because I know Freddie. Freddie once told me that there's 5 competitions you have to win. I know Freddie's strategy.
yeah, warm up. Was it win YouTube, win the warm up room,
Yep.
win the meet, win the banquet,
Oh, there was win the way in there as
win
well.
the win?
Win the way in. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that wasn't mine. Not
Yep.
my strategy.
The couple of times I posted a video or did anything at all, I always found it just really annoying and a lot of time consuming of setting up the camera, getting this right and doing that, and then having to trim clips down and then post them. I just go, nah, I don't want to do it. Just too hard.
Yep,
Too hard.
dude. Like I would not have a tripod in my possession. Like
No.
I'm pretty sure a tripod will make you weak. So Easton Schuster and I, we would take like a concoction of 3 boards and 2 boards and 1 boards, and whichever board we weren't using, we'd prop the phone up on to get our video.
Yeah,
Which is
that's the only allowable way to film.
it was great.
Yep.
It was just great, and we never asked someone to hold the camera. Like it's no, like we got a board, we're good.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah, there's so much from that I want to complain about, but I realize people will will listen to this, so I won't. Um, but going back to what you said about validation, that I think that's the key. If you're doing it for yourself, then you don't need the video for validation. You know you did it.
hmm
Like I'm thinking
yeah.
back to, I remember just before, like not long before the stroke, and I never got to attempt this on the platform, which still bugs me to this day. But you had me doing like really, really heavy board presses and then working down through boards week by week by week. And it eventually got a 405, like did 425 and 405 in the same session. The 425 was to a 2 board and the 405 was to a 1 board. And I always thought that whatever I could do to a 1 board, I could do that in a meet. And so I was really excited about it. And to this day, the 4 guys that were spotting for us and you were the only people that ever saw that footage. And so people now go, well, why don't you post that? Like if you still got it, because it is on my phone, I still have it, just because I don't delete stuff. But this point now, I'm really happy that I did it, and the people there, they know what happened. I know what happened.
Hmm.
No one else needs to know what happened. Um,
Hmm.
I
Well,
remember, I
and,
remember how my forearms felt afterwards.
oh yeah,
That
yeah,
doesn't
man.
change.
My
And
hands used to get numb for like
right,
3 days straight.
yeah, yeah. I remember calling you when you got me to go down a sleeve size in my shirt, and I remember texting you during a workout, going, "At what point do you lose feeling in your hands?" Because I started to go numb from my hands from the just on one side of my hand because I think I was compressing the ulnar nerve, so I couldn't feel my ring finger on my pinky. I'm going, oh shit, I've never done this before. This is new.
Yeah, yeah, we Easton Schuster towards the end there to break his shirt in, we'd get that bugger on,
Mm,
and it was just him and I. So he'd get his right hand set, and then his left hand. What I would do as a spotter is I would take the ER rack and I'd jack it up, and then I'd take Easton's hand and I'd move it to position, and then once he got a grip, then I'd let the jack down
oh crap!
and it would push him into position, and then we'd lift it out and then start breaking in a shirt that way. So it was pretty nuts, but
Wow.
good time. And you know what? In all these years of training and being in the gym space and going to worlds and nationals, all this stuff, I absolutely just fell in love with the humble, strong guy. Like, I think that's maybe why I
Mm,
didn't post much. Is I loved those dudes who were the dark horse that didn't need to have the pats on the back, didn't
yep.
need the validation. They were just there to they did it because they loved it and they competed. And what kind of drives me nuts, I think there's some great kids in the space right now, but uh they're hitting some nice numbers. But you aren't the first person to hit those numbers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like like lifting is not like you are not lifting. Lifting should be enhancing your life. And I think there's some backwards in some people at this point where it's just lifting is their life. And there's that doesn't give you the right to act like an ass. It doesn't give you you're strong, but don't act like an ass. You're not the first person to do it. And so the fact that like I've been there, I was in a warm up room with all these dudes and I've been to these meets and uh I don't want to say I'm not impressed. What I'm impressed with is if you hit the weight and you turn around and you're a great human
Mm,
and you help you can pass along and help someone out. Like that's impressive to me. Because someday when that strength's gone, I mean, is the character you're building now really good? Like there are people right now that like I care not to be around. They're strong, but dude, not my cup of tea. So, that's my 2 cents on that.
hmm. You ever notice that most of our group were all country boys as well?
Eh, probably.
Mm.
Jeff Snyder when he raised in a where's he? Is he a cave kid?
Uh, wolves, I believe, raised by
Wolves.
wolves.
Wolves. Yes, definitely. But
He once fought a bear. I know that, and yeah, I know. Like what Adam Mamola is from John Denver country or Deliverance country,
Virginia.
the,
Not quite West Virginia. I mean, West
but he's
Virginia, I think that's really good.
Western Virginia. He is.
Is it Western?
Yeah, I believe so because he's near the Shenandoah River.
Okay.
It's like second line of country roads take me home. So I'm like, I get where you are. You're not that far from Brian Siders. See, there's
Uh,
another one, right? Like, just let your lifting do the talking. That's he's a West Virginia farm kid.
was there
Um,
like 10 videos on that guy?
yeah, and none of them taken by him.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. And okay, let's look at this one. Okay, I know he got his fame through All Star Wrestling, but go find lifting videos of Mark Henry.
oh
Not a whole lot of them. Like
yeah,
903 deadlift in what was that? 1993 or whatever it was, 2003 maybe.
when he was
Uh
what 18 or something.
just absolutely not the best of technique in a singlet. Cranks out 903
Yeah, just
in a
brutally
grainy
strong.
photo. And
Yeah.
it's like, whoa. So, yeah. And you know, we fought through this battle because it came about during our competitive eras, you know, the whole raw and equip thing.
Hmm.
And, you know, it actually just hit me yesterday going through my tub. It's like, is equipped dead? Who cares? Like, like, I don't want to be dead. Like, so
Yeah.
putting on equipment and going lifting, that's keeping me from feeling dead, you know, like, so at the end of the day, it doesn't matter,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. That whole is equipped lifting dead? And I go, well, I wasn't really that alive when I started doing it. Like,
Yeah.
it's not like everybody in the gym was lifting in a shirt. Like most times in the gym, if you had two other powerlifters with you, you were doing well. Like that was a big group, and yeah, no one else was doing this, and it wasn't why we did it, and it wasn't, and other people doing it, not doing it. Um, I got no satisfaction either way out of those things. Like I just love
Yep.
doing it. I think you say,
Yep.
why do you put the shirt on? I go, if you put one on, it's fun, man. Like, isn't it cheating? I go, I don't know. Is buying a better golf club cheating? Like, is buying a top of the range driver with a bit of extra flex in the shaft and a I don't know whatever they do to golf clubs these days, but
Well,
is
okay,
that cheating?
let's just back up to this. You got knee sleeves that are banned and not banned and rebanned. And I don't even know what they're doing with that stuff, but yet they don't help you. Yet elbow sleeves are illegal. Figure that one out.
Yeah,
If the sleeve doesn't help you, then an elbow sleeve should be fine, right?
yeah. If it's just warmth, then sure. And I've
Yeah,
seen I've seen now that how good athletes are at putting on tight knee sleeves, and they've got it down to a fine art.
really.
I think it helps now that because you can wear the full length suit for religious purposes. I think um, you can now use your socks to put knee sleeves on, and so they slide up a little bit easier. Although that create an issue at a local meet. This kid had his socks still on underneath the knee sleeves, so the socks were like covering his half of his kneecap, and he couldn't get the socks back out from his knee sleeves, so he had to time out. Which I just giggled at. So that was funny.
You know, how innovative. Let's just be honest. Like, people are always thinking on the ball of how to get the little extra ounce of this, a little extra ounce of that. It's like, you know, don't act like it doesn't exist. You know,
Yeah.
next thing is on the equip side is, hey, we all have this. We all have the same weapon.
Mm-hmm.
How you deploy it's up to you.
Yeah.
And you know that I love that nothing's really hidden with it. But at the end of the day, it's all great. It's all fun. It's all pushing yourself.
Right.
But yeah.
And it's doing something that most people think is kind of silly.
Oh,
And
it is.
yeah, I think that's the whole thing about any hobby that you put a lot of time into. If you think about what you're doing, you go, "Oh, that's dumb. What am I doing that for?" And I think like we talked about this last year in Texas, that we've paid thousands upon thousands of dollars to fly all around the world for about 30 seconds of work.
Yeah.
It wasn't the 30 seconds of work that was the main driver. I don't think it wasn't. It was
Yep.
nice, and I don't think the outcome didn't always change things in terms of how enjoyable the trip was, or how rewarding the trip was, especially in hindsight. Although I still wanted to win worlds once or get on a podium, that would have been nice. But not having that, but having all the stories and being able to tell stories of Dennis Cherry bribing officials, or pulling out wads of 50s in foreign countries, that's fun. Like that's fun.
Yeah. See, and for me, I'm a little OCD on some stuff. In the fact that when I traveled, like, I stayed off my feet. I systematic meals. They weren't the most healthy, but would make systematic meals until the meet was over.
Hmm.
I would not let myself relax until that meet was over. Then I usually would just fly out like 48 hours later. So I get one day to leisurely enjoy Europe
Hmm.
before I came home. So it's kind of probably a little bit of my regret there. And my family's really young at that time too. So I regret that I couldn't bring them all along, but
Yeah.
that'd break a guy. But on the other end, I think that the family was the reason I was there as well. Because guess what? That forced nap time for me too. I mean, who's not laying down with your kid napping?
Right. Yeah.
I'd go to bed early. I mean, it just created that good routine that I think I needed to go to that next level.
Hmm.
So that it was all good, big circle there.
What kind of role did your family play in releasing you or sending you to go to these competitions?
Uh, I talk to my kids now. Like half of them didn't realize I was at those places. They just knew I was gone and I was up on the TV and the monitor. Uh, I remember listening to a podcast by Brady Stewart and Josh at one point, and they were really talking about separating the gym life and that. And maybe that's where, we were kind of discussing a little bit earlier with the Instagram people always posting and always video and always this. It's their life.
Hmm.
And I tried making it. I very rarely brought stuff home from the gym other than like bruised arms or numb arms or something. But the gym was the gym.
Hmm.
And, my workout was, set. And I usually looked at it the night before, but didn't really talk to my kids about it. My wife, she let me know she was pretty bored with hearing about some of it early on. like and I get it. Like, it's my thing. So really there were times that like 2 weeks out from all, she's like, well, how's training been?
Oh
Tell
yeah.
her no,
Yep.
and you kind of give a briefing like this one, feeling like going into it. But it allowed that mental release and mental break from. So then when you got to the gym, you're recharged and ready to go.
Yep.
And that's how I viewed it. So, because you can't stay on all the time. Like I couldn't, I'd be burned out.
Like as you know, I mostly trained at home. Like I was training on my back patio a lot. So the gym was at home, and even then, it didn't come inside with me.
Yep.
I think
Yep.
how was training? Oh, it was good. Okay, what's for dinner? Can I have
Yep.
two steaks, please? I need more
Yep.
milk, and that was
Yeah, it's
that was
good.
about it.
Good balance. And I think now that's what's kind of a little bit driving me back, thinking about competing is the kids want to see me come back at it. Well, now that, I got a 17, a 14-year-old, my 12-year-old, they're all into lifting now.
Yeah.
And so now it's like, all right, like, do I let them see the other side of me where I'm just absolutely ready to run through a wall and swing and monkey stomp something?
Hmm.
Maybe. I think they need to probably see that.
I think it's I think it's cool to let that side out every once in a while in very controlled circumstances, just so people know that it exists,
Yep.
and then put it away, keep it in your back pocket, and uh, if people forget, bring it back out every now and then.
That's what I'm thinking. What else we got here, bud?
There's so much. We're at an hour and 23. We told Michelle it'll be an hour, so I don't want to push it too much because you know, I don't have to deal with the consequences. But, so it's
Oh,
up to
she'll be
you.
all right.
Should be good.
She'll be all right.
Should be good. What was another one? I was just thinking. Oh, did you have if you had a bad workout? Because this comes up a lot with the social media thing. I don't think people realize you have like bad workouts are quite common, and then when you put shirts in bad workouts or so-called bad workouts, the ones that are gritty and don't feel that good, they happen all the damn time. Like if you're training 5 nights a week, 4 of them are going to be kind of shitty.
I don't think I was ever that bad. Kind of what I tell my high school kids, because I hate that. Like they're having a bad workout, and it's like, you know,
No, 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 this sucks.
it's a bad workout. And I
No,
mean,
it's training.
when Easton and Natalie are in there, and when they were in my stable and we were lifting, I always use the term like, "You didn't just leave the doctor with a bad report, dude. Snap out of there." Like in
Mm-hmm.
the grand scheme of things, it's not that big. So now, and I heard this from someone, and I really like to use it with my high school kids. I'm like, you know what? We can break our workouts, all of our collected workouts into thirds. A third of them are going to be great. a third of them are going to be average, and a third of them are going to be subpar. Like, if you get inside your head and you try and modify and change and do all this stupid stuff on those third that are wrong, you're probably going to mess up the other 2/3. So just keeping people kind of on track when they get to that point.
I go one step further from that one because I agree 100% with that thirds one. Don't believe any story you tell in any of the thirds, because in that bottom third, when it's not working so well and you want to change everything, don't believe what you tell yourself about what's going on, because you're wrong.
Yep.
You feel bad. You might be a little bit sooky or sad or angry, whatever. So whatever conclusion you come up with about that workout, you're going to be wrong. If you believe how great you are based on the really good workout, you're going to be wrong as well, because otherwise you get that whole believing your own hype, and that's never a good thing. Oh, I think I've just lost Jonah. That's it. That's podcast over. He's dropped out. There's nothing there. I'm talking to nobody. So yeah, let's wind it up. See you later, everybody.